First tonight, funeral home directors threaten to pull their services over unpaid bills, and one director is demanding a raise in fees. Plus, our Jerome Sawyer is in Washington, D.C. as the world is preparing to witness the inauguration of America's 47th president. And later, Alive is inviting you to Goodman's Bay every Saturday in the month of January. Our Danielle Miller stopped by for yesterday's Zumba class. We have the details on these stories and so much more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Shepard. As the funeral home directors threaten to pull their services over unpaid bills from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, one director says the amount paid for servicing police removal calls must be increased. According to Serenity Funeral Home and Crematorium founder and CEO Michael Hepburn, they are paid $550 per scene. As for an increase in the fee, Hepburn says they have been trying but have not been successful.
$550 is ridiculous. In my humble opinion, it should be no less than $1,000. No less than $1,000. Because it's time and effort that goes in behind this.
Despite submitting bills the next day, Hepburn says payment isn't received until sometimes 3 months later. Hepburn penned a letter to Deputy Commissioner of Police Kirkwood Andrews, but up to Friday morning, he said the letter got no response. Hepburn says it's about time they get the respect they deserve.
This is not a job for me. This is my passion. This is my career. I'm a U.S. trained licensed mortician. I'm certified in the Bahamas as well as in the U.S. And the U.S., working with the medical examiner's office, was a total different experience compared to being here at home. Persons would say, yeah, but it's the Bahamas. Regardless of where you go, business should be conducted in a professional manner.
Well, amid long-standing legacy issues and tense labor relations, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Aviation and Investments Chester Cooper says a strategic plan is in place to rebuild the national airline. Bahamasair faces legacy debt, and most recently, union members held a sick-out, leading to multiple sick-outs and flight cancellations. Cooper says an option is capital injection into the airline.
A lot of legacy issues. Bahamasair needs more than PR, unfortunately. This is an entity that suffered financially for decades. We have a strategic plan. We're looking at possibilities of capital injection into the airline. And I believe once we are able to achieve some of the strategic objectives in the medium term, all will be well. Bahamasair is still our national carrier. And wherever we are and we see Bahamasair arrive, we welcome it with pride.
Bahamasair has said the company suffered up to $700 million in losses following the sick-out that resulted in a Supreme Court injunction ordering workers back on the job. Bahamasair contends that action was illegal. Cooper stressed the negative impact disruptions at Bahamasair have on the airline and the economy at large.
Every flight that is cancelled, there are residents and guests who are disadvantaged, who are stuck perhaps in a foreign country or on an island where they are checked out of a hotel. All of this cost needs to be paid, absorbed by somebody, notwithstanding the sheer inconvenience and the reputational damage on Bahamasair.
Well, if you're planning to head to the United Kingdom anytime soon, you want to be aware of a new entry requirement in place to enter. It's called an Electronic Travel Authorization, also known as an ETA. And if you've traveled to Canada in recent years, you're probably familiar with the process. British High Commissioner Thomas Hartley explains how it all works.
Whilst Bahamians are one of the few people in the world that get to go to the UK visa-free, that hasn't changed. You can still hop on the plane without a visa. Everyone in the world does now need to register their passport digitally with the UK before they travel. You only have to do it once every 2 years. So you go onto the UK ETA app or onto the ETA website, and you can enter all your details, and you pay a £10 fee, and then your passport is digitally registered with the UK for the next 2 years. And that just hopefully will mean a much smoother process when people land at Heathrow.
Hartley stressed the requirement also stands for Americans and Canadians hoping to enter the UK. As for the reason behind the new requirement,
this is all part of the UK digitising its borders. It will in future allow things like people to use the e-gates at Heathrow, or for people to use the biometric chip as they enter the UK border. This is all about trying to keep the UK's border as up to date, but also as secure as possible. It's trying to stop document fraud and things like that all around the world.
Well, all eyes are on Washington, D.C. tonight as Donald Trump gets ready to take the oath of office tomorrow. The traditional swearing ceremony and inauguration parade will look very different due to relocation plans sparked by bad weather. Our Jerome Sawyer is in Washington tonight.
With less than 12 hours to go before America and the world witnesses the inauguration of this country's 47th president, Donald Trump, Washington, D.C. is in full preparation mode. Over at the White House, transition teams are preparing to make the all-important Biden-Trump switch. Meantime, organizers have had to pivot as well. The impending frigid weather and snow has forced the inauguration to move away from the steps of the Capitol right behind me, where it normally happens, inside to the rotunda, an activity that has not happened here in Washington for over 40 years. Thousands of visitors and Trump supporters woke up to the inclement weather Sunday morning as forecasters predicted worsening conditions throughout the day. Around the city, the inauguration committee and D.C. officials were busy redirecting spectators to the Capitol One Theater for a planned victory rally Sunday afternoon, an inauguration watch party Monday morning, and a reimagined inauguration parade within this space immediately following the actual event. The soon-to-be second-term president is expected to make an appearance there after his swearing in. In spite of these last-minute changes, D.C. is still a much different city than it was 4 years ago. Rewind to January 2021. D.C. was a much different place. It was a city under siege, with limited access, military presence, and a general uneasiness. The events of January 6th and active COVID restrictions presented a much scarier scenario than what we see today. This inauguration takes place against the backdrop of many historic events. Donald Trump is a second-term, non-consecutive president who's coming to office with a Middle East crisis looming, as well as a controversial immigration policy. He's also promising to sign a number of executive orders on day one, reversing many of the Biden administration's policies, which could have a direct impact on the Bahamas. At the Capitol building in Washington, reporting for Our News, I'm Jerome Sawyer.
Thanks so much, Jerome. Be sure to stay tuned to Our News throughout the week for more from Washington, D.C. Well, when Our News Weekend comes back from the break, the Department of Inland Revenue is coming to you. We'll tell you about their new initiative designed to make doing business a bit more convenient and easier. Plus, the Bahamas Red Cross is weighing in on the new VAT rate adjustment. They're hoping for a positive impact on their bottom line. That's coming up when Our News Weekend returns.
Diet-friendly special.
The start of a new year means it's time to renew your business license. The Department of Inland Revenue has launched a nationwide initiative called DIR Comes to You, aimed at assisting businesses with this annual task. Yesterday's kickoff taking place at multiple locations, including the Marathon Mall, Alive Southwest Plaza, and various locations throughout the Family Islands. Communications and Training Manager Beaumont Todd says policy amendments related to compliance can affect their online system. And this is why they found it important to leave their four walls in an effort to relieve any frustrations the public may encounter.
The reality of it is we know that a lot of persons, as simple as the website and easy is, still have difficulties when it comes to technology. Grandma and grandpa ain't going to be as easy to go online. And so we want to make it as possible, regardless of who you are, to walk you through the process and steps, because the process is continuously changing.
Communications manager at the Department of Inland Revenue, John Williams, tells us they anticipate a seamless process.
You speak with our client services department. We find out exactly what's happening with you. If you've submitted for your business license renewal, if you have not, we take you through the process. Once that's done, we come to our registration unit and we go through the process with that, and we get you approved and ready to go.
With the news of an upcoming VAT reduction on food items from 10 to 5% on the horizon, many are wondering if it will make an impact on their pockets. But of course, private citizens aren't the only ones impacted by the shift. Larger charities like the Bahamas Red Cross will also be able to feel the difference at checkout. As for the kind of savings the charity expects to see, Marlena Leonard has that angle.
5 points drop in the VAT rate may not seem much to someone who is only spending a few dollars a week on groceries.
As for the direct impact it will have on the Bahamas Red Cross,
based on our historic purchasing of supplies from whether it's food stores or wholesalers, we've now got to make some projections to see, well, once this reduction sets in, what is that going to mean for us? What is going to be the net effect or impact on our ability to purchase? I'm hopeful that it will cause us to be able to purchase a little more. But, you know, our resources go beyond just groceries, right? We provide a lot of other material items as well. So we'd like to see how the reduction in one area may be able to offset the cost of products in other areas of our purchasing inventory.
Sumner feels any effort by the government to reduce the cost of food in the country should be welcomed. And while he says there's more that can be done, Sumner tells us
things that could have a very positive impact on the pockets of the average consumer over time. But on larger organizations like ourselves, it will have an even greater impact because we spend a lot more money on a regular basis buying food supplies to support our welfare program, our Meals on Wheels program, right? So that 5 point drop and reducing it 5%, I think will have a positive impact on our bottom line.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thanks so much, Marlena. Well, excitement is building as the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation prepares for the inaugural Romance Week, slated for January 30th through February 2nd. This week-long celebration is set to showcase the best of love in the Bahamas, uniting international travel partners with local wedding industry professionals. The event will feature a conference, networking lunches, and a trade show on February 2nd, where attendees can connect with top-tier vendors from across the islands. The Bahamas Bridal Association, led by Vice President Leslie Pinder, is collaborating closely with the Ministry of Tourism for this exciting event. During a press conference held at the host venue, British Colonial, Pinder shares more on what participants can expect.
Our dynamic speakers this year, the keynote speaker being Terica, introducing Terica. She is our wedding and business coach in the U.S. She speaks at all of our events. And she is coming here to share her knowledge, her insight on how we can grow, how we can build better business relationships with our clients. We have Raquel Wilson. She's going to be speaking on the perfect contract, building the perfect contract. And then we have LaShonda Smith. She's going to be speaking on content creation. So by the end of this this event, you should be well equipped to, just go at it in 2025. New trends and everything in order to build your business to a next level.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, staying fit and connecting to fiber. Our Danielle Miller has the details on Alive's fun new initiative for the month of January. But first,
Bahamians hoop it up in the pros and in college, and we get into some tennis action next on our Sports Weekend.
America's 47th President Donald J. Trump takes office on January 20th. With a decisive victory and clear mandate from the American people, what will his anticipated policy changes in immigration, taxation, climate change, foreign policy, and social reconstruction mean for the Bahamas and the region? Join On the Record with me, Jerome Sawyer, Thursday, January 23rd at 8 p.m. from the nation's capital or a special mission to Washington.
Good evening, happy Sunday. Welcome to Our Sports Weekend. I'm Tage Adderley. Bahamians got after it on the court last night. Here's what happened. Buddy Hield helped the Golden State Warriors get a much-needed 122-114 win over the Washington Wizards. He scored 6 points. Eric Gordon got a start for a depleted 76ers squad, but he scored 4 points in a 115-102 loss to the Indiana Pacers. DeAndre Ayton sat out with lower back soreness as the Portland Trail Blazers lost 125-103 to the Houston Rockets. And in college, AJ Storr came off the bench to score 7 points in 17 minutes to help Kansas beat heated in-state rival Kansas State 84-74. VJ Edgecombe and Baylor just wrapped up, and Coach O and the Rebels played earlier today. You can check our socials for those scores. Now we're going to head to a different kind of court where they're having some heated competition. The Nassau Cup is a tournament that features the best club players all over the island. Hosted by International Club Bahamas at the John McEnroe Tennis Center at Bahamasair, the tournament will pit experienced club players and former professionals from both the Bahamas and abroad in elevated organized competition. Clubs participating in the tournament will include Team Bahamas, Team Gamma, Team Sotheby's, Team Titan, and Team Cable Beach. The organizers hope that the event will continue to grow in the coming years, drawing competition from the Bahamas and from throughout the region. The competitions will take place on weekends in January, culminating in the finals on February 8th. And that'll do it for sports this evening for Our Sports Weekend. I'm Tage Adderley. Have a great week.
Thanks so much, Tage. On the other side of this break, we check in on temperatures across the archipelago. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie fills us in on everything you need to know weather-wise. Stick with us.
America's 47th President Donald J. Trump takes office on January 20th. With a decisive victory and clear mandate from the American people, what will his anticipated policy changes in immigration, taxation, climate change, foreign policy, and social reconstruction mean for the Bahamas and the region? Join On the Record with me, Jerome Sawyer, Thursday, January 23rd at 8 p.m. from the nation's capital or a special mission to Washington.
Welcome back. It's time now for a check on temperatures with meteorologist Ian McKenzie. Ian.
Thanks, Megan, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Sunday evening forecast. A bit on the warmer side. Partly cloudy skies, temperature 79, feels like only 77. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Temperatures across the country, 76 in Freeport as well as Marsh Harbor, 75 in Allenstown, Bimini. We have that front racing entire area, some showers there. 78 in Nickel Sound, 77 in Great Harbor Key, 79 in the capital, and 80 in Governor's Harbor. Central Bahamas, 80s continuing in Kemps Bay, 77 in Arthurstown and Georgetown, 78 in Deadman's Key, and 76 in Coburn Towns and Salvador. Southeast Bahamas, we have 78s in Duncantown and in Abrahams Bay, 79s in Colonel Hill, Delectable Bay, Matthewtown, and in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. Satellite and radar imagery right now, we have an active frontal system racing through southeast Florida, should reach into the extreme northwest Bahamas later tonight, and then just south of the capital by early tomorrow morning. Boating forecast, we expect winds to be shifting from the westerly direction, becoming more northwest in the northwest Bahamas as that front races through. We have a caution out, should come into effect later tonight, early tomorrow. Winds west, southwest, west, northwest, 10 to 15, building up to 20 knots rather. Seas 2 to 4, building up to 6 feet after that front. High tide at 11:58 p.m., low tide at 6:09 a.m. tomorrow morning. Central and southeast, caution again, winds east to southeast 10 to 15, getting up to 20 knots, seas 2 to 4, but up to 6 feet. In your extended forecast, as I mentioned earlier, we have that front racing through us tonight through tomorrow. Some showers in its immediate vicinity. Clearing out, we have a next front Thursday, Friday. That should cool things down a bit into the weekend. We expect those highs to get down from the upper 70s to the mid to low 70s with the low temperatures. Yes, a bit warm now. We expect them to get back down into the mid to low 60s by the end of the week. That's a wrap in your evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun week, everyone.
Thanks so much, Ian. While running your weekend errands yesterday, did you make the time to work out or to upgrade your services to fiber? Well, if you didn't, check those items off your to-do list. The Alive team is making it easier for you to do both during the month of January. Our Danielle Miller gives us the details from yesterday's Zumba event.
Welcome to Alive Fiber Fitness!
Greeted by the Alive marketing team, dozens of participants gathered on Golden Gates Assembly Park for a high-powered Zumba workout led by founder of Move with Myra, Myra Farquharson. And even with the hour-long, non-stop dancing, everyone remained energized. The Zumba team infusing their electrifying personalities into each workout, prompting participants to completely let go and let loose.
It's like when you had that long, very stressful day and you couldn't really get out all of that energy, you could just scream it out like nobody's watching.
As I watched from the sidelines, I was compelled to do a little shimmy. However, I was not dressed for the morning activity. Disappointed, to say the least. At the end of the interview, Myra informed me that I'll get my chance to jump in line.
This is just the first Fiber Fit for January. Next week, we have another Fiber Fit with Moves with Myra and Peach Fitness. We are going to be on Goodman's Bay starting at 7 a.m., so we're inviting everybody to come out.
For more information, follow Alive's social media pages. Can't wait to see you next week on Goodman's Bay. Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks so much, Danielle. Looking forward to seeing your shimmy. We've highlighted the Roll Sisters over the last 2 years, particularly during the Christmas holidays. Every year, the sisters hold a Christmas tree competition amongst themselves. Last month, we showcased their competition on our social media pages. Several of you commented asking if the sisters would ever consider decorating the national tree and, by extension, the downtown area. Well, we took that question directly to the sisters.
We have all thought about it. We've heard that so many times. But again, it would consume so much of our time. It would take us away from our family, which is a great part of Christmas for us. And so based on that, I'm sorry, Bahamas, we're not able to do so.
Reigning champion Kimberly Roll, who won the sisters competition in 2023 and 2024, also shared similar sentiments about decorating the national Christmas tree in Rawson Square.
It can become political at times. Everybody knows my husband is in politics. Definitely don't want to be accused of nepotism. And so we're going to stay away from that. We do this for us. You know, we love doing this for our family, for our friends. And so we do this for us. We don't do this. I mean, we're happy that Bahamians can join in and celebrate with us. But something of that magnitude, of that level, I don't think that's something really that we would aspire to, you know, because at the end of the day, it's really about us.
And with that, we thank you so much for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepherd. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.